And welcome to another edition of HTFL Football. Or, better yet, how many ways can Big Paulie screw up a video presentation? Coming to you to bring you the San Diego Cleveland game, which we will get started here in just a moment. It's a 79-degree day at Cleveland Brown Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio, as the San Diego Chargers come to town to take on Cleveland. Both teams were on the road last week and won their opening games. Don Coryell coaching the Chargers, Paul Brown coaching the Browns. Who else? Milt Plum will be in at quarterback in favor of Otto Graham, who was injured last week. Philip Rivers doing likewise for San Diego. Metcalf back deep. That's Eric Metcalf back deep for Cleveland, and this game will be underway momentito. And Metcalf goes up the middle for a 27-yard pickup on the return. Smith on the tackle at the 29, setting the offense for Cleveland for you real quickly. Brown and Motley at running back. Mitchell and Warfield, your wide receivers. Winslow at tight end. Plum, your quarterback. Thomas, Hickerson, Mack, Willis, and Shafaraff, I'm going to guess, your offensive line. A 1st and 10 for Cleveland. They won the toss and received. Jim Brown, trap right. First time we have played as Cleveland, because this is Cleveland's first home game. Brown with the trap right. Johnson on the tackle for San Diego after a pickup of 6. Setting the defensive front for you for San Diego: O'Neal, Williams, Ernie Ladd, and Johnson. Your front four: Ernie the Cat Ladd, who would go on and become a famous pro wrestler. Sayal, Allen, Phillips. Your linebackers: Cromartie, Bird, Weddle, and Harrison, Rodney Harrison, at free safety. We'll go Motley, Marion Motley, trap right. And Motley stopped at the line. Phillips made the tackle for no gain. So a 3rd and 4. And they'll bring 3 wide receivers in, and they'll bring in Mr. Jim Benton. We'll go Warfield, short hitch. Number 42, and they go to him. Pick up a 14, Bird on the tackle for San Diego. Motley. And we will go trap right and just keep running up the middle. That seems to be a plan of attack here for Cleveland. Just keep running the ball. And when you got Brown and Motley in your backfield, why the hell not? Phillips brought him down after a gain of 3, and that moves it to the San Diego 48. A 1st and 10 from there. I'm sorry, not a 1st and 10, a 2nd and 7. We'll go Brown. We'll go pitch to the right. Jimmy Brown out of Syracuse picks up 14 yards. That's a 1st down. Moving it down to the 34, Weddle made the tackle for San Diego. Okay, now we're going to lull the Chargers into a false sense of security, and we'll go Warfield on a long pass with play action. Looking for 42, and he's got it, and that's a touchdown. So Paul Warfield, who will go on and later play for Miami, gets the Cleveland Browns on the board. Here's the point after attempt, and it's through. Barr putting it through for Cleveland, and it's 7-0 Browns. Sproles back to receive the Lou Groza kick. Groza kicking off only. And Sproles brings it out to the 22 after it being 3 yards deep in his own end zone, and that's a 25-yard return. Setting up the offense for San Diego: Tomlinson and Young, your running backs. Allworth, Martin, your wideouts. Gates, Antonio Gates at tight end. Rivers, your quarterback. Mix, Wilkerson, Hardwick, Sweeney, and Washington, your offensive line. 1st and 10 for the Chargers. Tomlinson, 8 yards.
Encroachment, defense. Number 72, 5-yard penalty.
But a 5-yarder penalty against Shirk. They will decline it and make it 2nd and 2. Setting up the defense for you for Cleveland: Ford and Burnett at defensive ends. Rimkus and Shirk, your defensive tackles. Banks, Johnson, Matthews, your linebackers. Dixon and Minifield, your corners. Darden and Lewis, your safeties. 2nd and 2. Antonio Gates for 12 yards. Darden on the stop for Cleveland. Now a 1st and 10. Ball at the 42. And that was a screen to Young, and he picks up 23 yards. You're just joining us at 7-0 Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns. Both incarnations of the Cleveland Browns, I might add, represented with this Cleveland team. San Diego, just the Chargers, as they played after they were the Los Angeles Chargers of 1960 and before they moved back to Los Angeles late in the 2010s. A 1st and 10 now at the 36. Screen to Tomlinson. Tomlinson with plenty of room, 27 yards before Minifield could get him. Ball at the 8-yard line, a 1st and goal now for the Chargers. Wearing those powder blue jerseys, well, light colors, but at home they will wear the powder blues that they wore in the 60s, back in their AFL days. Rivers called a timeout before that play could get started, so they will have 2 remaining the remainder of the half. A 1st and goal from the 8. Young, but not much. Dixon on the stop. They will bring Anthony Miller in the game as a 3rd wideout. And that'll bring up a 2nd and goal. And a touchdown. They go to Gates, and he's got 6 points. And now an extra point away from a tie game. And it's good. Kading with a point after. And your score now 7-7. Eric Metcalf, the son of Terry Metcalf, who is playing with the St. Louis Maroons, if I recall correctly. Back deep for Cleveland. And that's 22 yards on the return before Junior Seau could make him Seau. And it's a 1st and 10 for Cleveland. We will go trap right Jim Brown and just keep going up the middle where it seems to be a good point of attack. 9 yards. Got away from Phillips before Williams could get to him. And you cannot go wrong just keeping the ball on the ground. In this situation, we'll go trap left with Brown. That's another big pickup, 9 yards. Only played in football 9 years before he pursued a career in acting. Go off tackle right, Marion Motley. Thomas was injured on the play, a lineman, and they will replace him with Schwartz. Let's take a look at Marion Motley real fast out of the University of Nevada, Reno. Played on the AAFC Browns. Theoretically, Cleveland could also include Cleveland Rams, who played before moving there to Los Angeles during World War II, and before then. Spit it out, Paulie. We'll pitch right to Jim Brown. A loss of 2 on the play. A busted play there. They were going to give it to Brown, but instead he gave it to Sharaf, one of the tackles, and that was a 2-yard loss. 3rd and 11. We'll go to Benton on a fly. 18 yards and a 1st down. Cromartie brought him down. Plum was a very accurate passer for Cleveland in the early 60s. And he's showing why he's accurate so far in this game. He's 3 for 3 for 66 yards. In fact, no one has thrown an incomplete pass yet. Rivers is 4 for 4 for 70 yards. We'll go to Motley on a dive play. Keep pounding that rock. 7 yards. Allen makes the tackle for Cleveland. We will go Brown, trap right. Just keep plugging that middle. That's another 1st down, pick up of 7 more. So far in the game, 10 carries, 54 yards has Cleveland as a team rushing. And again, I'm thinking it's time for a little trickeration. And we will go Warfield. Actually, we'll go to Mitchell this time. on a play-action medium pass. And a good time to call that. Gain of 19. Plum to Mitchell. And Mitchell threw for 207 yards last game against Pittsburgh. Came off the bench and sparked a comeback as Pittsburgh was leading most of the way in that game. But Cleveland prevailed 30-20, if I recall correctly. First and goal now for Cleveland. We'll go Brown and we'll trap right. And he's got pay dirt. Touchdown, Jim Brown. Point after attempt to make it 14-7, and it's good. So each team has now scored on each possession they have had. We haven't had a punt yet. Groza to kick to Sproles. Sproles takes it at the goal line, moves it past the 20 to the 21. First and 10 from there. Tomlinson up the middle, a draw play, 4 yards. Lewis on the tackle. Seeing two very efficient offenses at play here. A 2nd and 6. Young, and he's close to first down yardage, 3 yards. Darden on the stop for Cleveland. And now it's a 3rd and 3 from the 28. Tomlinson on the draw, and he's got a lot of room. Don Paul pulled him down at the 43 after a 15-yard gain. Look at Don Paul. He's out of Washington State and played on those 50s Browns teams that were so good. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter, your score. Cleveland 14, San Diego 7. So now, 1st and 10 for San Diego at their own 43. Each team coming in with a win under the belt. Incomplete
Holding.
pass on a marker.
Offense. Number 63, 10-yard penalty.
That is Wilkerson. Wilkerson on the penalty. We'll look at him. He's out of North Carolina Central. Played on those Air Coryell teams that Dan Fouts led back in the late 70s, early 80s. 1st and 20 now from the 33. And that's throw completed to Martin for 9 yards, so they get half of that yards back. 2nd and 11. Marker down.
False start. Offense. Number 78, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Push San Diego back 5 as Sweeney gets called for a false start. Make it 2nd and 16 now. And they go back to Martin.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 72, 5-yard penalty.
And they will take the 5 yards. They'll take the 5 yards that time of the encroachment penalty on Jerry Shirk. 2nd and 11. Incomplete. Looking for Tomlinson, deflected by Johnson. 3rd and 11, ball at the 42. A screen to Tomlinson, but not there. So we see our first punt of the game. And it will go inside the 15. We will fair catch it and just play it safe. Metcalf makes the fair catch at the 10, but our confidence is high that the Cleveland offense can do anything here. Off tackle right, Brown. 1 yard gain. We'll go to Brown again, pitch right. No gain. Okay, so San Diego, wise to the schemes now that Cleveland is using, will go medium out to Bobby Mitchell. That's incomplete. Plum was injured. He will be back in a few plays. So Brian Sipe in there. He's the 3rd string quarterback, but he will be called back to the bench as Gary Collins comes in to punt. And
Holding. Receiving team, 10-yard penalty.
Rodney Harrison gets called for holding on the punt, and that will move San Diego back to their own 37 with 12:06 left to halftime. Still 14-7. And on 1st and 10, Tomlinson, draw play, 1 yard. Plum back into the game, so when Cleveland gets the ball next, they can utilize him. 2nd and 9. Tomlinson, again stuffed, 2 yards. Remkus on the tackle. A loss of 2. 3rd and 11 now for San Diego. That's caught. First down. Gates over the middle. Don Paul brought him down, and that moves it out to the 49. 1st and 10. They try a long pass, looking for Tomlinson, but incomplete. And that makes it 2nd and 10. Tomlinson, a screen pass, and he gets 11. First down. Both teams tiring a little bit, but they're still chugging up and down the field. Ball at the 40 of Cleveland now for a 1st and 10. Rivers over the middle of the Gates for 15. Darden brought him down at the 27. That's a 13-yard gain. Check that. Rivers now 8 of 11 for 116 yards and a touchdown. A 1st and 10 from the 27. This is Young, and he's got 3 yards before Banks could bring him down. Carl Banks. We'll take a look at him real fast. That is Chip Banks. My apology. Carl Banks would be on the New York team. Although they played in the same era. Chip Banks on the 85 Cleveland Browns, so he played in the era of Marty Schottenheimer, and back when Cleveland had a good squad led by Bernie Kosar. 2nd and 7 at the 24. And the sack, Matthews gets to Rivers. And now it's a 3rd and 10 from the 27. Screen pass to Tomlinson, incomplete. Gates was hurt on the play, and he will be out a few plays. Kellen Winslow comes into the game at tight end for San Diego. His son, Kellen Winslow Jr., plays for Cleveland. But back at the ranch, we got a 44-yard field goal try here for Kading to make it 14-10, and he does. Wind was at San Diego's back. I forgot to point out that there is a little bit of a wind today. Cleveland had the wind advantage in the first quarter, but now they're going into it 5 to 15 mile an hour wind. Guess you could call that a slight breeze. Metcalf back deep. Oh, they go for an onside kick. An onside kick, a surprise onside kick for San Diego, but Cleveland was not surprised by it. They pounce on it at the 50. No return. Off tackle right, Marion Motley. Gain of 2 yards. Dive play, Jim Brown. That's a first down, 11 yards. And let's see what we'll do here. We'll run it to the right, Jim Brown. Brown picking up 6 yards before Phillips could get to him at the 31. We'll go Warfield, medium fly on 2nd and short. And it's got to him. He got it to him, 21 yards. Warfield now at 69 yards on the day on 3 catches. We'll go Winslow. Short cross. That's a timeout called by San Diego. They have 1 left. Cleveland still with all 3 of theirs. We'll go Brown. Pitch right. Hey dirt, Jimmy Brown again. Touchdown. Jim Brown with another touchdown to make it 20 and about to be 21 to 10. There it is. Barr hit the extra point. Grozo comes in the kickoff to Sproles again. Taken by an upback all the way out to the 42.
Receiving
that was
team.
Duncan. But they will get Seau for holding. And that was at the 18, so they go half the distance to the 9, a 1st and 10 from there. Another marker down.
Encroachment defense. Number 80, 5-yard penalty.
Ford gets
Repeat
called
first down.
for encroachment, the defensive end for Cleveland. Now a 1st and 5 from the 14. Screen to Young, but immediately tackled by Chip Banks. Loss of 3 yards. It's Lance Allworth, Tony Martin, your receivers on 2nd and 8. Rivers drops back a long pass. Allworth the intended receiver, but incomplete. Now a 3rd and 8 from the 11. He goes screen to Young, and Young's got first down yardage, but a marker.
Holding. Offense. Number 70.
Will take the penalty against Washington and force a 3rd and 14. They go over the middle, a slant pass to Allworth, and that's completed for 16 yards. Cleveland will try to get something going here defensively. End around to Allworth for 6 yards more. And that might get us to the 2-minute warning. Nope, we're going to cut one more play off. Tomlinson, 2 yards. And now we are at the 2-minute warning. Still 21-10 Cleveland. A 3rd and 2 now for San Diego at their own 29. Screen to Young, incomplete. Play for a normal punt return. It was Metcalf who returns at 8 yards, and that brings it out to the 33, 1st and 10. Cleveland with all 3 timeouts, so they could do some damage here if they choose to. We'll go Benton, short hitch. Pelham will scramble for a yard. Ernie Ladd got to him. They'll go no huddle. We'll go Winslow, medium hitch. Instead, they go to Benton, and he's got it for 11 yards. Cleveland will bang their first timeout with 1:20 to go. Go Warfield, medium out. It's good. They had him double covered, but Warfield made the catch. 16 yards. We'll go Mitchell, slant pass. Not there. How about Brown on a trap right? That's good for 8 yards. Quickly to the line. Winslow, short hitch. That's good. 14 yards. And Cleveland will bang out another timeout with 35 seconds to go. They have one left. And they start looking for 6 points. We'll go Warfield, medium pass. Not there. Incomplete with 30 seconds to go. 2nd and 10 from the 18. Warfield. Well, we just went to Warfield. Let's go Bobby Mitchell. Medium slant. And that's good. 13 yards. That moves it to the 5. They don't want to call a timeout just yet. Go no huddle. And we will go Warfield, short hitch. 23 seconds to go. Incomplete pass, 10 seconds left. Could probably call one more play before having to call timeout. So we are going to go with a simple dive, Jim Brown. Might break open for a score, and it does. Jim Brown with his 3rd touchdown of the day. He scored from 10 yards out, and now 5 yards out. The extra point will make it 28-10, and it does make the score as such. Squib kick. And it's not returned too far. Hardwick picked it up at 22 and returned it 9 yards. So at halftime, your score, 28-10 Cleveland. And back with you for the second half of this game. Big Paulie coming to you. It's Cleveland 28, San Diego 10. But San Diego is going to get the ball to start the second half of play. Cleveland at 267 yards. Plum 9 out of 13 for 159 yards and a touchdown. Brown 3 touchdowns on the day, 13 carries, 96 yards. San Diego 166 yards total offense. Rivers 10 out of 16 for 129. Tomlinson not having a bad game at running back. 6 carries, 28 yards. 2 receiving catches for 38. So we will get this sucker started. Sproles back deep for Lou Grose's kick. And he catches it about just inside the 10, at the 7, and he goes to the 34 before Gorgal could get to him. So we have a 1st and 10 for San Diego from there. Give to Young, and Young's got himself 6 yards. Trap to the right. Minifield brought him down. Now a 2nd and 4 from the 40. Tomlinson back to the line, and that's all. Johnson brought him down. Let's look at Johnson. That's Mike Johnson. Played out of Virginia Tech on the early 90s, Browns teams. And he had 4 tackles last week against Pittsburgh. 3rd and 4 from the 40. Tomlinson, drive play, a first down, but a fumble. Hardwick recovered it. And it's a gain of 8 yards. What am I seeing here on the San Diego sidelines? A little trickeration. Tomlinson behind center. See what happens here. Fakes give off to Rivers, but takes it himself. Lewis on the tackle. No gain. And that'll bring up a 2nd and 10 from the 48. I don't know what Coryell was thinking there. Screen pass. Wide receiver screen to Miller, and it's 10 yards, but just short of the first. Setting up 3rd and inches. Tomlinson, did he get it? He got it. 1 yard gain. Johnson on the tackle for Cleveland. Now it's a 1st and 10 at the 41. Incomplete pass. Rivers threw it to Martin. Incomplete. All the teams you would want with being 18 points behind. San Diego would not be a bad choice. 2nd and 10 from the 41 of Cleveland. 4 yard gain as a screen to Young was complete. San Diego in that lower West Division with Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and Arizona, and 2 of those 4 teams makes the playoffs. Each division you will have the first place and second place team make the playoffs regardless of record. And say San Diego were to be the second team in the lower west, second place team, then they would get the first team in the upper west, and then the winners of the west playoffs would meet to determine the Western Conference Championship. And then the 4 conference winners, East, South, North, West, would be seeded, play a semifinals, and then there would be the championship game at the end of the season. 3rd and 6 from the 37. Intercepted. Johnson, with his first pick of the year, returned it 2 yards to the 33. And now it's advantage Cleveland for sure, with 9:24 left in the 3rd quarter. We'll go sweep right, Jimmy Brown, who's been red hot so far in this game, and no gain there. We'll go Brown again, trapped to the right. I'm just going to keep giving the ball to him. He picks up 2, getting him to 98 on the day. 3 wide receivers, shotgun, man in motion. We'll go to Benton, short out. Incomplete. It was deflected. Looked like by Phillips. And it's now 4th and 8. Collins back deep to punt, so Cleveland could not capitalize on that situation. Ball goes out of bounds at the 20 after a 45-yard punt. Back to San Diego we go, 1st and 10 from the 20. Incomplete pass. Looking for Miller, but it hits the ground before it could be caught by anybody. A 2nd and 10 to Young. He's got 2 yards. 3rd and 8 from the 22. A 15-yard gain to Miller. Paul on the tackle, and again they have Tomlinson in at quarterback. He's going to take the direct snap, it looks like. And a sweep to the left, no gain. So again, that play was stymied. 2nd and 10 from the 37. And they give it to Young, no gain there. 3rd and 10 from the 37. To Young again on a screen pass, but it's incomplete. Punting time. Cleveland will get the ball back. At the 15, at the 13, Fuller on the tackle of Metcalf after a 6-yard gain, which moved it out to the 19. We'll go to Motley, trap right. Only a yard gain. We will dive with Jim Brown. That's a nice play for Jimmy Brown. He's at 119 on the day as that 21-yard gain puts him over 100. He's having an excellent day for Cleveland so far. We're going to go play action to Warfield, long fly. He's wide open. Gain of 33. And Warfield goes over 100 yards receiving on the day. 5 catches, 117 yards. They will bring Benton in as a second wide receiver in the base formation along with Bobby Mitchell. They each wear 49, oddly enough. And in HTFL football, that can happen. Trap right, Jim Brown. He's got more yards, 13 of them. Put him at 132 on the day. He is dominating this San Diego team. Trap to the right with Marion Motley. And Motley! Touchdown! The great Marion Motley from Nevada finds pay dirt. And here's the extra point. It's good. So Cleveland blowing away San Diego at this point. Your score now 35-10. San Diego will need 4 scores, 3 of them being touchdowns, to make this interesting. Sproles back deep for Gross' kickoff. Catches it at about the 10, moves it out to the 35. But a marker. Weddle made an illegal block. 1st and 10, ball to 12. Incomplete pass. Rivers was looking for Young, but not there. 2nd and 10 from the 12. This time Rivers threw it to Miller, and it was good for an 11-yard catch. They're going to be depending a lot on Rivers the rest of this game, I would think. He's already thrown it 25 times, 169 yards. 1st and 10 from the 23.
Upon further review, the ball was secured before it hit the ground. The pass is complete.
So
no timeout
Young
will be charged.
Caught a pass, and that was good for 4 yards. And it'll be 2nd and 6. San Diego used their only challenge in HTFL play. As I seem to say every game, each team gets one challenge of their own. But every score and every turnover can be looked at by review on the booth, in the booth. 2nd and 6, ball to 27. Incomplete pass. Looking for Tomlinson. 3rd and 6. And let's see what happened here.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 14, 10-yard penalty, loss of down.
Rivers was nailed as he was thrown. They're showing Dan Fouts got called for intentional grounding. Fouts has come in the game. And Rivers got his bell rung, apparently. They would bring Dan Fouts in if there was more offensive plays, but there are not. It's 4th and 16 at the 17, and I think San Diego will punt here, discretion being the better part of valor. And Metcalf with the fair catch at the 40. Trap right, Jim Brown. And that's 7 more yards. And they will not call a play. And you kind of wonder when Cleveland might bring in some reserves. Not quite just yet. Stretch play, Jim Brown. And that's 2 more. A 3rd and a yard situation now for Cleveland. Will go Motley. Dive. Just short of the 1st down. But up 35-10. I don't think they're going to risk anything here. Collins, sideline punt. And it will be marked dead at the 11. And they're going to try the direct snap to Tomlinson again. John Jefferson in the game for San Diego as they go to 4 wide receiver packages. Rivers is at the running back spot. Fancy that. Tomlinson on a sweep left, and he picks up 4. First time that Wildcat play has worked for anything for San Diego. And now it's a 2nd and 6. Incomplete. They were looking for Jefferson there. And now it's 3rd and 6 from the 15. Incomplete there. So Rivers now 15 out of 30 for 173. Cleveland will just set up for a fair catch. Just play it safe. And it's caught at the 44. 12:31 left in this 35-10, very one-sided affair for Cleveland. Cleveland, in fact, is going to take Brown out of the game and put Leroy Kelly in. And they will go to him, trap right. Jim Brown's had an excellent day. No reason to risk him anymore. Play action, long pass to Paul Warfield. They instead dump it off to Kelly, Leroy Kelly, and he's got 11 yards. Take a look at Leroy Kelly out of Morgan State. He did see a little bit of action last week. 1 rush for 9 yards. Played on those late 60s Brown teams. The Browns made the NFL championship in '69, losing to the Minnesota Vikings, who in turn lost to Kansas City in Super Bowl IV. We'll go Winslow, short hitch. Not there, incomplete. Why is Cleveland throwing the ball here? We'll go back to basics. Off tackle right, Leroy Kelly. Cromartie came along and made the stop after a 2-yard pickup. 3rd and 8. Now I think you do want to throw it. Medium hitch to Warfield. And it's good. 17 yards. How about Motley off tackle right? Gain of a yard. Johnson injured. He will not return. So it's O'Neal, Williams, Ladd, and Kelcher in your defensive line front for San Diego the rest of the way. Go double tight end, and Jim Brown would come back in the game. We're going to go to Motley, trap right. That's a pickup of 3 yards. Only in my base formation do I have Kelly in the game. Let's see if I can fix that real fast. If I go double tight end, I want Kelly in there too. So that's done. A 3rd and 6. No reason to get fancy here. We're going to sweep it left with Kelly. And a touchdown, Leroy Kelly. And this onslaught of points continues. It's now 41-10. And this extra point will make it 42, and it's good. So Cleveland putting a butt whooping on San Diego in this game. Now they will need 4 touchdowns and 4 2-pointers to just draw even with 8:33 to go. Sproles back deep for the Lou Groza kick. See, I've said that before a lot of times, and Sproles brings it out 35 yards. A 1st and 10 now for San Diego at the 38. They got a lot of work to do now. Tomlinson, a screen pass, and he goes for 27. Before Don Paul pushed him out of bounds. 1st and 10 at the 35 with 8:11 to go. A sack. Jerry Shook brought him down by the arm. And it's now 2nd and 17 from the 42. A draw to Tomlinson picks up 19. So Tomlinson, a pretty good day. Which likely will be a losing effort. 12 rushes, 59 yards, 3 catches for 65. 1st and 10 at the 23. And Tomlinson, 12 more yards. Dixon brought him down. 1st and goal at the 11. And Tomlinson finds pay dirt. Touchdown. San Diego not going for 2 here, which would probably be their better play. Here's the point after. I guess they're thinking low odds of getting 4 straight touchdowns and 4 straight 2-pointers. So they settle for the 1 point, the kicked extra point, and in HTFL play, all kicks and 2 point plays come from the same spot. We don't have the rule that you have to kick an extra point from the 15, but if you want to go for two, you do so at the 2. Cleveland will watch for an onside kick here, but they kick it away. Metcalf brought it out
Illegal block.
to
Receiving
the
team.
29. That'll come back. Banks with a penalty. We're going to pull Plum, and we're going to put, let's see, who do I put in the game? We're going to go with Bernie Kosar. Kosar will go into the game at cornerback for mop-up duty. Off tackle right, Leroy Kelly. And he's got himself 3 yards. As a team, Cleveland has 35 carries, 199 yards, 5.7 average, and 5 touchdowns. We'll go Motley, trap right. And Motley has 2 yards. Kosar's not going to throw here. We're going to pitch it right. Leroy Kelly. And Kelly's got 3 more yards. Sean Phillips with his 10th tackle on the day for San Diego. And Cleveland more than happy to punt the ball away. Here's Collins back deep. And a pretty decent return for Fuller, who picks up 12. Schaffner on the tackle for Cleveland. Ball at the 47, a 1st and 10 for San Diego. As they try furiously to get back in this game. They were looking for John Jefferson. That was incomplete. Double covered. 2nd and 10. Screen to Tomlinson. 12-yard gain. 1st and 10 at the 36. 35 make that. Rivers to Miller, incomplete, as they were going for the whole enchilada there. 2:11 to go. 2nd and 10 at the 35. To Miller, and this time he has 15 yards. He gets out of bounds to stop the clock with 2:03 to go. 1st and 10 from the 20. Jefferson wanted a flag after Lewis got tangled up with him, but we are now at the 2-minute warning. This has been a laugher ever since about the end of the first half. It's 42-17 Cleveland. We have 1 minute and 58 to go. Let's try to get it over with, boys. 2nd and 10, ball at the 20. 10-yard pickup for Jefferson, the 1st down. Cleveland's not going to burn their timeout. I think the fans in Cleveland want this game to end about as much as everybody else does. The 1st and goal from the 10. Incomplete pass. Looking for Jefferson again. Rivers, 20 out of 39, 248, an interception, 2 touchdowns. Let's go back at 2nd and goal from the 10. Incomplete. Looking for Lance Allworth, and Allworth only 1 catch on the day. Cleveland doing an excellent job keeping him off the score sheet. 3rd and goal. Screen to Tomlinson, and he's in. LaDainian Tomlinson picks up another touchdown. Let's see, how many is that for him today? That is 2. San Diego got their only other touchdown going to Gates, so it's going to be 42-23. They will go for 2 now, even though going for 2 would only make it a 17-point difference, and it really wouldn't make a difference whether or not they go for 2. And they do not get the 2-pointer, throwing to Kellen Winslow, senior, incomplete. We'll watch for the onside kick again. Webster Slaughter caught it. And I think this one's about over. Kosar is going to take a knee and see if Cleveland will call a timeout. Take another knee. Take a knee again. And that is all she wrote. Your final, Cleveland 42, San Diego 23. Here you see the scoring summary. Pretty much all Cleveland, even though San Diego got a couple of consolation touchdowns at the end of the game to make it a lot closer. But this was a domination by the Cleveland Browns. 42-23, your final score. And we'll take a look at the games coming ahead as Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Baltimore, and Cincinnati all in that division. and two of those teams will make the playoffs, and only two. Cincinnati has yet to play their second game. Everybody else has played two games, and Cleveland has a half-game lead now over Cincinnati. Cincinnati will be playing down the road. They will be playing against Indianapolis. Our next game will be St. Louis traveling to Jacksonville, the Maroons and the Jaguars. So that should be an interesting game. Buffalo and Dallas. Buffalo goes to Big D, and then we have Green Bay and Houston, our next unplugged game, where I will just drop back and let Ray Curtis handle most of the commentary. Then we have Cincinnati, Indianapolis, as we are now almost halfway through the second week of the HTFL season. So I hope you enjoyed today's game. Hope you are well wherever you may be, whenever you are listening to this. And we will talk to you soon again. Bye bye for now.